Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Ben, Christy, Alonzo, based on the bestseller, The Girl on the Train comes a-chugging into theaters this week. I have not hopped on yet, so these guys will talk about it.
Yeah, I actually read the book. This is a book I read because I'm in my mid-40s and I'm a mom and I'm in a book club. I have all the cliches. So
Was there white wine?
no, there was red.
Okay.
Thank you so much for asking. I'm a red wine girl. So there is a girl on a train. And she's played by Emily Blunt. In the book, she's kind of frumpy and an alcoholic mess, but here she's played by Emily Blunt. So every day she commutes into the city from the suburbs and she watches the beautiful homes along the tracks and wonders what life must be like for them. This used to be her life and now she's divorced and lonely. And one day she thinks she sees something when she catches a glimpse of the house that is her favorite and the couple that is her favorite, a young woman who lives there named Megan and her husband. And she thinks that that might be a crucial bit of information when Megan goes missing. But then 2 doors away from Megan, there's also Anna, who was married to Rachel's ex-husband and now has a baby with him and lives in the house that Rachel used to live in. You need like a flow chart and a train schedule, apparently. And so what happens when all their lives intertwine? Take a look.
I want to start my life over again. I saw her. I saw her from the train. She was with this man. Just for a second. Is this her?
So you did not read the book. Were
No,
you
of course
surprised by anything
Read
that
that
happened
book.
here?
No, and I got to do this right, obviously without a spoiler. There aren't enough characters in the book. I guess makes less of a deal of whodunit than the movie does, which really that ends up being your focus.
Well,
right?
what I liked about the book was not so much the actual whodunit element, is that Paula Hawkins, who wrote it, goes back and forth between these women. And they're all unreliable narrators, but they're all really toxic. And with each chapter, she peels away who they really are compared to the facades they put on for the world. And so that part, the back and forth of all these women and their perspectives on this unfolding series of events is more interesting than whodunit.
Well, that,
to me at least.
Yeah, no, and that sounds more interesting. That didn't, if that was the intent here, that didn't work.
It didn't translate.
Like
no.
it didn't. You didn't really peel back a lot of layers. What was interesting about this movie is the perception, the Rashomon quality of it. Not so much of a singular event, but what you think you see, what you think about other people's lives, turns out, of course, not to be true. I mean, what Cenk and I talked about a long time, often for some reason on the Young Turks, is that notion there's nothing more wrong than a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture is worthless. It's a fragment in time. It means nothing, right? I mean, that's why, look, you watch my brother's Dateline piece. Like, they look so happy. Well, they were taking a picture. And it turned out that 2 days later, he killed her. Or did he? He did.
Gung gung.
So this didn't, the layers really weren't peeled back from personalities. We didn't learn more about the people. We learned more about the events and how the perceptions were wrong. But that's significantly less interesting. Then to the point I started to make before, there simply weren't enough. The movie is really a whodunit. I mean, you do start wondering, because you wonder, did Emily Blunt do this? Did one of the other women do it? Did one of the men involved do it? There are a few people who could have done it, but it's so few that at some point it becomes plainly obvious to you how this is going to turn out. Not because I'm some sophisticated moviegoer and I've seen so many and I'm jaded. You just know. Like there's just no right. At some point you're like, okay, well that guy.
I think
that person did it.
Ebert always called it the law of the economy of character.
That's right.
There's a character who seems extraneous.
Right. Well, I didn't realize that Roger had a whole law for that. But yeah, there's definitely the law of the economy of characters is at play here. And that ruins the surprise because you're like, ta-da,
Yeah, there's a tension that builds in the book. And again, the book is just, it's good trash. Like, it's decent trash. The book kind of falls apart
Yeah,
toward
it
the end.
sounds interesting.
But it's trying to be Gone Girl, or it's in the same vein as Gone Girl, but not as well crafted, not as suspenseful. So really, it had to be about these people. And so, the Emily Blunt character, Rachel, is a mess, and you do feel for her because she's grappling with her alcoholism. She's grasping for wisps of memory that she can't get because she's a blackout drunk. And so you sort of sympathize with her and you feel for her as she goes on this journey of trying to figure out what is going on. But also because they have condensed all these women so significantly, like stuff that matters in the book feels kind of silly in the movie. Like there's a couple of moments I don't think were meant to be funny, where like Emily Blunt's running in the woods or whatever, and it's kind of silly. And there's this stuff that happens so quickly that it's kind of bizarre and kind of unintentionally.
Is it that thing where they felt like that if they had to include all these events, or readers would be mad that they left them out? Or
They're pretty faithful to the book, I would say. And then also at the same time, the men are all just nothing. The men are all like cardboard.
The men are
cutouts.
like what usually happens to women.
Right. So Luke Evans.
And so I'm outraged.
So Justin Theroux is Rachel's ex and Anna's current husband, and then Luke Evans, the frequently shirtless Luke Evans. Thank God for that. He is Megan's husband.
It's all airbrushed.
And then, right. And
Totally.
is that what it is? And then it's a CGI abs.
Yeah.
And then Edgar Ramirez gets like nothing to do.
Yeah, Roberto Duran.
Yeah, he's Roberto Duran as the psychologist, as Megan's psychologist, who also gets some.
It just also feels miscast. He's a really good actor, but that just like, I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, also in the character in the book and also in the movie, his name, he's like Middle Eastern, and they have this whole weird exchange. Like, you have an accent, well, so do you.
Right, and that's in the book. I mean, the movie they have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Also, they've moved the story from London to New York. But Emily Blunt is still British. And there's a whole weird exchange.
That didn't
where,
bother
like,
me, but I just figured.
It makes her an outsider.
And the therapist is
kind
still
of.
Middle Eastern, but they cast Edgar Ramirez.
But he speaks Spanish at some point.
No, isn't he? No, he's from Latin America, isn't he? I think they moved. It didn't matter,
Anyway,
but
it's a
like
distracting
it
thing.
seemed like his accent was going to mean something.
Right, because they
And
talked
didn't.
about it.
Right, they talked about it, but they didn't. I thought Emily Blunt's such a wonderful actress, and I think more than you thought, based on our conversation after the movie. You'll speak for yourself.
Can I? Are you going to mansplain me to myself?
Yeah,
I love
think
when you
what
do
you
that.
said was no.
Actually,
Here's what you think.
No, I thought there was more risk taken to make herself look bad. Like you thought she still always looked like Emily Blunt, right? Like there.
Well, she's bleary-eyed, and she, sometimes she has vomit in her hair in the morning.
Right, but I thought there was a degree of. I thought there was an unglamorous quality to her that she embraced that I liked, and I think she's wonderful. And this isn't the way you explained the book to me was the book's about 3 women. This was about one woman with 2 co-stars. It was about Emily
She's the
Blunt.
girl, yeah.
She's the girl, and it's really her story and her uncovering reality. And there's a nice bit of there's one moment of her uncovering memories that has a nice twist, like, oh, that was not what you thought it was. So I didn't hate this movie. It's super forgettable, but it was all right.
We should mention who directed it. That would be Tate Taylor, who
Yes.
directed The Help and Get On
On
Up,
Up.
which we all liked, which was the underrated, underappreciated Get On Up.
and the overrated The Help.
Yeah, this reminds me of The Help in that it plays it safe. It
is safe, and The Help was super safe.
Conventional and safe, and well acted here and there, but
Right.
read a book.
What did you give it?
I gave it a 3.5.
Oh wow! I gave
What
it
is your number?
I gave it, I think, a 5.8.
Yeah,
is
you
that
did,
right? Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I didn't hate it. I definitely didn't hate it. It was fine. It was not quite as good as The Magnificent Seven. That's my.
All right, that's your standard. So
And they both have Haley Bennett.
yeah, they
Right,
do.
right.
Yeah, Haley Bennett. So 4.7 is our number, and it's at 51% and kind of dropping on the tomato meter. So read a book, people. Come on. Bye.